We've got breaking news and the latest updates on those mystery drones in New Jersey. Check this out. This is an article from 12 years ago, actually 11 years ago. New Jersey selected as testing site for FAA drone mission. This was December of 2013. And you can read about this. Just type in New Jersey selected as testing site for FAA drone mission 2013. New Jersey is among several states selected to participate in the FAA's drone test. Wow, interesting, right? Almost 12 years ago. The military has been using drones for years. Obviously, we know that. And New Jersey is among several states selected nationwide. This is just an enormous opportunity for New Jersey and the reality that unmanned aerial systems, UAVs, the technology is there to use them today, but we haven't figured out a way to safely integrate them into domestic airspace, said Representative Frank Lobiando. Rutgers is partnering with Virginia Tech to conduct the research. Drone research is already underway at the FAA Tech Center in South Jersey. Companies like Amazon have also been experimented with adapting drones for commercial purposes. Biondo believes the technology has immense possibilities. There's an application for agriculture, an application with medicine, an application with law enforcement, disaster relief, all kinds of things. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. They were telling you 11 years ago, and then they forgot, and the world forgot. Hey, I get it. It happens. It happens to the best of us. But we have a lot of news to share with you today, so thank you very much for being here with me. I hope you have your organic popcorn, and buckle up, Buttercup. Let's go. And if you haven't had a chance yet, go to boomerboost.com. Huge, boom. Look at that. Huge discount right now, boomerboost.com. Sorry, I don't know why I just did that. But boomerboost.com, use the code REX20. You'll get an additional 20% off your order. I take this stuff every single day. It's amazing. You're going to love it. Boomerboost.com, code REX20. Use the discount. You can even give them a call if you want to talk to them. And amazing testimonials. So let's get into this. We've got like so many different headlines. And not only are we going to talk about the mystery drones, we're going to talk about the North American Union, the potential for the North American Union integrating Greenland, integrating Canada, and like the Panama Canal, what's going on down there. We've got information about that. I think in the near future, it might be named the Pan-American Canal. I don't know why, that just came to me. I could be way wrong. And look, I'm just reporting the news. I'm adding a little bit of flavor, a little bit of spice, a little bit of theories and ideas, and you can come up with your own conclusions, but I am going to share with you the information that is being shared with us. And we have been scouring the web and researching this information and still up to date on the mystery drones. I've got more information about mystery drones. Did you know that when these mystery drones were first being reported at the end of last year, like around November, authorities were saying, do not attempt to collect a downed drone. If you see one of these things, do not collect it. Do not go near it. Have a hazmat suit. Why were they telling people to have hazmat suits? And like, what's going on with that? And then there were reports of people getting sick after they alleged to see some type of mist or some type of vapor trails being released by mystery drones. I mean, there's a lot of information and disinformation out there, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And we're going to talk about the US-Panama Canal, the latest information there. China's actually built this new military center that's supposed to be 10 times bigger than the Pentagon. And I found some recent articles of lasers being used on aircraft carriers now. So the U.S. Navy has lasers to respond to drones shooting out of the coast and out of the ocean and out of the waters and then disappearing. Now we've got lasers, okay? Even though China does have 6G laser technology from satellites also, but that's just to download movies. They're just downloading movies with that right now. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the latest information. Here we go. Let me scroll down a little bit. Nope, I got to scroll up. Here we go. Check this out. Oh, okay. The Panama Canal. It's this canal like way, way out here. And it's this waterway that allows vessels and boats to travel through the canal instead of having to go way around it. And, Rubio goes out there and then it's amazing. It's amazing what happened. So now, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's start off with the drones. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. In response to the recent surge of mysterious drone sightings across several U.S. states, including New Jersey, and remember, if you're just joining us, here's an article from 2013. This article is from 2013, December 31st, 2013. New Jersey selected as testing site for FAA drone mission. How cool is that? 11 years later, the drones are all over New Jersey, and they're still out there in New Jersey. By the way, they're still there in New Jersey. In response to the recent surge of mysterious drone sightings across several U.S. states, including New Jersey, local authorities have implemented precautionary measures to ensure public safety. Belleville Mayor Michael Milham has directed first responders to don hazmat suits and contact the county bomb squad if the drone is found downed in their vicinity. Yes, this report was from The Hill in December of last year. And then a lot of people don't know about that. So what's up with that? That's kind of weird, right? They're just being safe. And then also CNN reported on it in December of last year and Wall Street Journal. And then there were reports of residents across various regions. Oklahoma was one of the states, including the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom, have reported encounters with a dense fog accompanied by a chemical-like odor. Many individuals have associated this phenomenon with health symptoms such as headaches, dizziness, nausea, and respiratory issues. Some have speculated potential links between the fog and recent mysterious drone sightings, suggesting the drones might be dispersing chemicals into the atmosphere, and that was meconomytimes.com. However, hold on. High elevation here. Smashed my thumb the other day. That's still being... Anyway, so... Oh, this stuff is amazing. Have you had root beer kombucha? Mushroom root beer kombucha? So good. It is so good. So anyway, experts suggest that these experiences may be influenced by heightened awareness and anxiety, especially in the age of rapid information dissemination through social media. Psychologist Robert Bartholomew notes that such incidents can reflect prevailing fears and may be amplified by the selective nature of perception. So, they can't confirm or deny the mysterious fog was causing people to get sick. They can't confirm or deny what was causing the fog, but experts say it's probably just people being scared after reading stuff on social media. So don't worry. They love you so much. New York Post, several articles in the New York Post. That was a couple months ago. Another very interesting thing that just came out is there are still no solid answers as to what the mystery drones are. I had a mayor on the show a couple of months ago where he said 181 mayors get together in New Jersey, and Mayor Robert Hurd, and none of them know what's going on. And the governor doesn't show up to the meeting. Nobody knows what's going on, allegedly. Like, they don't have any new information as to what these things actually are. But then we find an article from 10 years ago saying that the FAA might choose New Jersey. Might. Don't you like that? They might or might not. Kind of like the FEMA camp, or not FEMA camp, FEMA supplies. Happy camps. I mean, it's just happy camps, folks. Just happy camps. But remember the FEMA supplies where there was a town meeting in Escoda, and one of the council members was like, yeah, FEMA's going to show up, and don't be alarmed if you see a whole bunch of trucks with supplies. It's just FEMA. Yeah, no worries. They're just dropping stuff off. And then the news after, oh no, it was maybe. It was a maybe. It wasn't a definitive yes. It was just a maybe, that location. Well, first of all, why anyway? But what's up with that area? Very interesting area. And then I found out more about that airport out there and certain companies that actually pick up people in hot zones with basically whited out airplanes. Oh, you're in Iraq, you need to pick up real quick? All right, $5 million, we'll be there. See you soon. All right, we got to get these guys right now. Stat, it's a little bit hot out there. Yep, 5 million. All right, let's go. It's like something out of the agency or something. It's the company. It's an offshoot. It's a subcontract. I don't know. I'm just joking. So anyway, wait, what are we talking about? So it's pretty cool out there, pretty weird out there. But why that location? Well, if you look at the FEMA regions, if you check out the FEMA regions and the location, because of it being, there's a lot of military activity out in that region in Michigan. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I was talking to some locals out there, and there's all sorts of military vehicles. And so it's pretty cool, right? I mean, it's definitely not out of the ordinary then, if you think about it, if there's a huge influx of military being shipped overseas and vehicles, and it's a location with defense contractors and stuff like that, it wouldn't be too out of the ordinary to have FEMA show up with a bunch of semi-trucks of supplies. But it's interesting how after that information came out, it was like, oh, well, maybe, it's a maybe. And that's what they're going to say about this article from 2013. I will bet you they will say the same thing. They'll be like, well, it was a maybe in New Jersey 10 years ago. It wasn't for sure. And it's just a coincidence. That's, people are seeing mystery drones fly over their houses in New Jersey on a regular basis now. It's just a coincidence, but the FAA knows about it. Yes, the previous administration said they didn't know what was going on. It was just totally normal activity. They didn't say the same thing we did. And yeah, we're not really giving you a detailed answer, but it's for research purposes. Don't worry about it. Well, what about all the other places like Hill Air Force Base, sensitive military sites in Germany and the United Kingdom, and many, like Wyoming, what's going on in Wyoming, and Area 51, Nellis Air Force Base, and then they're always referred to as SUV-sized drones. It's quite interesting. So let's get into this a little bit deeper. In late 2024, numerous drone sightings across New Jersey and other East Coast states raised public concern. The White House later clarified that these drones were authorized by the Federal Aviation Administration for research and recreational purposes, noting that many were operated by hobbyists and private individuals, which is probably part of the truth. But once again, it's all of the above. It's a multiple choice, a multitude of answers there. They give you a blanket explanation, and a lot of people were not satisfied with this explanation. I'm not the only one that's going like, wait a second. Need more input. We need more data. Despite this explanation, several lawmakers remain unsatisfied and continue to seek more detailed information. They have raised questions regarding the specific nature of the research conducted, the identities of the drone operators and the researchers, and the reasons behind the delayed disclosure of this information. For instance, Belleville Mayor Michael Melham and Congressman Josh Gottheimer have expressed concerns about the lack of transparency and the potential implications for public safety and privacy. Additionally, some officials, such as Representative Mike McCall, have speculated about potential foreign involvement, suggesting that some of these drones could be spy drones from foreign adversaries. However, federal agencies, including the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, have stated that there is no evidence to support these claims and have confirmed that the drones were operated lawfully. NewsNationNow.com. So this is interesting. Wyoming, the least populated state in the nation. This article reports that 8 different Wyoming sheriffs have received reports of mysterious drone activity over energy infrastructure. Did you know that Bill Gates is working on a project out there for some new nuclear technology at a university, I think? I wonder if that's one of the locations. That's interesting. I'll have to double check that. Despite the White House's recent explanation that similar drones spotted over New Jersey were authorized, Wyoming officials say they have no answers about the origins of drones in their state. Some sightings involve grid-like formations and large drones with no confirmed operators coming forward. What? Interesting. Sheriffs are working with state and federal agencies to investigate, but concerns remain over public safety and national security. Totally normal, folks. They're just checking stuff out, man. It's authorized. They know about it. No big deal. Like, well, it's going to be a regular thing now. It's going to be more prevalent in early February. So this is the situation in the Panama Canal. President Trump threatens tariffs and these different possibilities. Well, we won't rule that out. Yeah, maybe, So listen to this. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio visited Panama to address escalating tensions between the United States and Panama concerning the Panama Canal's neutrality and China's influence in the region. The U.S. government, under President Donald Trump, expressed concerns that China's involvement in the canal's operations violated the 1977 treaty, ensuring its neutrality. This treaty grants the U.S. the right to intervene militarily if the canal's neutrality is compromised. Politico.co. During his recent visit, Rubio met with Panamanian President Jose Raul Mulino. While the U.S. emphasized the need to reduce Chinese influence, President Mulino maintained that the canal's management was a sovereign matter and assured that the consortium overseeing the ports was under audit. He also indicated that the Panama Canal and Panama would not renew its agreement with China's Belt and Road Initiative upon its expiration. Wow. It's a pretty big deal. The situation has led to heightened tensions with Panama preparing for potential conflict. Former Panamanian President Ernesto Perez warned that any military confrontation would result in significant casualties. He also suggested that Panama could respond to U.S. pressure by allowing increased migration from South America through its territory, potentially impacting U.S. immigration concerns. Politico.com. So the United States has basically expressed concerns that China's activities in Panama may violate the 1977 Panama Canal Neutrality Treaty, like I was telling you a minute ago. And it's interesting because Panamanian President Jose Raul Mulino has dismissed concerns, asserting that the canal is operating solely by the Panama Canal Authority and that there is no evidence of threats to its neutrality. But I have a feeling things are going to be, last time we did a podcast, I had mentioned there's probably going to be a lot more military activity in that region. And it seems like things are turning around really fast, where I'm surprised how fast everything is happening. At least it appears that way in the news, because we're seeing one of the biggest changes in power in this infrastructure from different intelligence agencies, security agencies, energy departments, all of the executive orders. I mean, did you ever think you would see anything like this? Because this is pretty freaking wild. As fast as this is going on, a lot of people they're not even watching the news anymore. They can't keep up. It's wild how quick this is going. Wait until this Stargate project takes off. If this Stargate project really takes off the way that they expect, and if it isn't just like a cash cow, everything's going to change. I mean, I was having visions last night. I was going through these visions with the supercomputer technology, and how I had mentioned before they had even said officially what the Stargate project was going to be used for. At least that I had heard. I said it's going to be used for a lot of transportation and the medical industry. And sure enough, those were two of the things mentioned about this Stargate project. And if you think about how much quantum computers have already revolutionized data processing and problem solving and different encryption, and then the supercomputers that are calculating all these different scenarios, and we're using artificial intelligence now to figure out ways to break down certain harmful forever chemicals and compounds. And I thought to myself, What if, now this is just a what if, but I have a theory right now, a working theory about the future of supercomputers, the future of the medical industry to an extent. My theory is if things start to go more towards the technological side of, because we're seeing big shifts in power right now too, right? And if you're watching the news, you can clearly see that there's different corporations going after other corporations. There's industries going after industries. There's officials going after certain industries, and there's at least this what appears to be shift of power from a standpoint of corporations also, not just the government, but many corporations and industries that profit off of certain systems. And I'm still being a little bit cryptic here, but certain industries make a lot of money from other industries because of what the practices are. So if we continue to see this shift of power, and this is just a theory here, but I see the potential for supercomputers to replace a lot of the modern medical structure. Like you basically give it a sample of your blood, and then it calculates everything it sees necessary to either make you live longer, be healthier, create some type of, if you're in sports and nutrition or biohacking or something like that, it could basically decode you from a molecular level, figure out anything that you might need more of or less of, what you should avoid, what you should have access to, but also create formulas at a molecular level that could probably, I just see a big change in the future where these computers could be, and then you could just do it from your own. You wouldn't even really need to go in. You could just upload the sample, send that sample into the cloud, and then it calculates the situation, and then it responds with an antidote. It's not that far off. I mean, what do you think about that? Wouldn't that be interesting? Just like, okay, I want to live in, forever, basically in perfect health. And, I want to be able to see 50% of the light spectrum instead of 0.08% of the light spectrum, 0.1, whatever the amount is. I want to be able to travel through different dimensions with now I'm getting a little bit, anyway, sorry. Next subject. What are we talking about? So yeah, the Panama Canal. We've got the Panama Canal, and then and then Greenland, right? So Greenland is huge. Greenland is one of the top 10 nations in size on the planet. I see like Greenland incorporated, Canada incorporating, the US incorporating into this supercontinent, the North American Union. Mexico, I have a feeling I don't know. I still feel that's kind of like, they might go a different route. This is all theory here, but I see the potential for a supercontinent or a super territory, the North American Union. If the North American Union actually happens, and I'm not for or against this, I'm just seeing the future here. If that happens, could you imagine the economy, how powerful that could be? The economy and the trade and the infrastructure and just it could be a very, very, very powerful entity. It already is. But you look at all the different nations out there, and there's I think 145 recognized nations or something like that. Yeah, so listen to this. Back to the Panama Canal. New York Post, hot off the press, 25 minutes ago. Panama caved on the canal after Trump channeled Teddy Roosevelt and Ronald Reagan. China recognizes canal as neutral international waterway. China Daily. Wall Street Journal, opinion, the U.S. has rights over the Panama Canal. Wall Street Journal, we're taking it back. Trump renews threat to seize Panama Canal. And then Greenland. So I was reading up on some articles on Greenland, and Greenland's independence debate intensifies. So basically, they've got these elections now for March 11th, and Denmark's racing to deal with Trump's threats and offers over Greenland. That was an article that came out. But one of the things I found interesting was some of the new bills that they're putting in play to not allow foreign monies involved in, where was this? Let's see if I can find this. Right here. Yeah, Greenland rallies against the risk of foreign interference. After a break of several weeks, Greenland's members of parliament returned to work in Nuuk on Monday. And they're basically saying, let's ban foreign donations to political campaigns. There it is. Greenland's parliament votes to ban foreign donations to political campaigns. And they want to buy a couple of F-35s. We'll pick up a few F-35s. We'll change a couple bills. And then it's all good, man. It's all good. So I was doing some research on that. And they're starting to kind of open up to the possibility of U.S. military protection, it sounds like, out there. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so there's like 195 countries, right? We've got 195 countries in the world that are identified as countries, I guess. And this is interesting. Listen to this. The United Nations recognizes 193 member states and 2 non-member states. The non-member states are Vatican City, interesting, and the state of Palestine. Well, did you know that the Navajo Nation applied for United Nations to be included in the United Nations, and that they didn't? They're like, no. So it makes you think. And I was thinking about, okay, so we've got 195 countries, but that's just the current map. You know, that changes all the time. What about the natives? Like, what about some of the tribes and the nations? So I typed in how many tribal nations in the United States and Canada as of January 2020, 5 years ago. And this has changed a lot also. But the U.S. has recognized 574 federally recognized American Indian tribes and Alaska Native entities. Canada has 634 recognized First Nations governments or bands. So things change quite a bit. The maps that we're looking at now, how many times have they changed just over the past 20 years? It's pretty wild to think about. But the reason I'm mentioning this is when you look around the world, checking out the United States right now and the 50 states in the U.S. If there was some type of governing body or other official set of, like, what would you call this? Just a new nation? I guess would it be called, like, so if there was a North American Union, let's just say there was, like, hypothetically, and this has been talked about for hundreds of years. But if there was a North American Union and you managed to integrate the U.S., Canada, Greenland, that right there would be massive, be absolutely massive. And there's many people out there that are religious and have beliefs in, you know, like the modern Bible that most people have probably read or heard about, or, you know, maybe read certain chapters or scriptures or whatever. But a lot of people have talked about this like one world government, this one world nation, right? And I just thought, okay, I was thinking, how would that happen? Let's think about that. How would that take place? If you've got the North American Union, which becomes this entire continent, the entire North American continent, including Greenland, including South America, Central America, all the way down to the tip right here, to the Panama Canal. This whole landmass, if there was a way to even make that happen, which I think would be super, super difficult. Imagine how difficult that would be to bring in the additional 195 or 192 nations that are like legal nations according to the United Nations. Like they're the ones that decide. But you get my point. It's just, how would that even happen? I just don't think it. Even if there was an, like when Reagan brought up the speech about, well, if there was back in the 1980s, if there was a off-world threat, then we would all get together as one, as one, something along those lines. Maybe to an extent, but to have a governing body that controls the entire world, the only way that would happen is with the most advanced technology and artificial intelligence, like artificial superintelligence, will just, synthetic intelligence. You would have to have an extremely detailed network all ran by this machine, and it would still be next to impossible. It would be next to impossible. Now, the closest thing I could see over the next 5 years here, potentially, and I still don't even know if I think this is going to happen. I think they're just kind of testing the waters to see how far they can go with it. But what if the US and Canada and Greenland did become one governing body, where you could travel through any of this, through all of the areas without having to have a passport, and maybe eliminating certain tariffs and all this other stuff that I know very little about. But how would that be for the economy, and how would that be for a military? Would that be better or worse for the military if all those militaries joined forces? Because, you look at the borders, and the only way you're getting into the US is via the coasts, or, obviously Canada or Mexico, but there's not a whole lot of different places to invade en masse. Yeah, you could have special ops and espionage and all that kind of stuff that's been going on since, people have been people. But to really have a major influx, I guess you could figure out a way to create some type of transport from Russia to Alaska up here. But then you're going to have to go through Canada, British Columbia, the Yukon. It's going to be, and then you'll be hitting the coast. So when you look at some of these other nations, look at the borders. Everybody's got everybody all around them. There's a lot more you got to look out for. And it'd be a lot easier to cross borders when you have so many nations that are about the size of states in the US. And Canada's got huge territories. So to bring in Greenland and Canada, that could be very strategic, and also a ton of resources. And it would definitely change things up a bit. But I want to get your thoughts about that. Yeah, let's see what else I got. If you're just joining us, we were talking about the New Jersey was selected about 11 years ago for a location for basically drones, like a drone runway for mass influx of drones. Different applications, from agriculture to technology to delivery to medical to security, law enforcement, disaster relief. And that's from 2013, December 31st, 2013, New Jersey selected as testing site for FAA drone mission. Now, if you don't think that's interesting, this is kind of exciting. So MIT has a collision-proof technology that can control thousands of drones and cars simultaneously. This is a new training method for multi-agent systems, enabling the safe and efficient coordination of thousands of drones and autonomous vehicles and other robots in crowded environments. There's companies out there now, I can't remember the name of the company off the top of my head, starts with an F. Ooh. And they say they're going to produce and deliver 100,000 humanoid robots within 4 years. And now there's articles coming out saying, oh, what are you going to do for retirement? Forget the sports car. Pick yourself an Android up. It'll do whatever it wants you to. I mean, they've got different types of Androids available now. Like for the conservative and inconspicuous businessman, they now have drones as companion bots that also fold up in a briefcase. So if you want to be discreet about it, guys, there you go. That's not creepy at all. Oh, whoa. I can't remember. What's the name of this companion robot that looks like a creepy robot, but with hair? And yeah, it packs up in a briefcase. Because all of you out there, those businessmen that are on the road a lot and also have to travel via airplane, you don't want to pay extra for the extra luggage. Fits in your briefcase, totally secure. And then you can pull her out and be like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah. It must have been love, but it's over now. It must have been good, but I lost it somehow. Now I've got a robot in my briefcase. Her name's Melody. She's got pretty hair. Yeah. Whoa, man. The future of love is now. But look at the bright side. Okay, I'm sorry. That was terrible. I know. I hope you plugged your ears. Where are we at now? What are we talking about? So yeah, the research for the development of new training methods to control robots and drones and autonomous vehicles at the same time. It's significant and relevant for scenarios where numerous autonomous agents must operate in close proximity. Yeah. Did you hear about this one? Venezuela calls Rubio enemy over U.S. recognition of Guyana's territorial integrity. Read all about it, VOA. Yeah, Venezuelan foreign minister has labeled the U.S. Secretary of State as an enemy of our country following the United States' affirmation of Guyana's territorial integrity amid the ongoing dispute over the Essequibo region. Gil accused Rubio of harboring an unhealthy obsession with harming Venezuela. Well, read all about it. Now, this is a little bit interesting here. So, recent reports indicate that China is constructing a massive military base and command center near Beijing, informally referred to as Beijing Military City, spanning approximately 1,500 acres. This facility is projected to be 10 times larger than the Pentagon, the U.S. Department of Defense headquarters, telegraph.co.uk. Satellite imagery reveals extensive construction activity, including deep underground bunkers and reinforced concrete structures. And analysts suggest that these features are designed to protect China's military leadership in the event of a nuclear conflict. The development of this complex aligns with the People's Liberation Army preparations for its centenary in 2027, a milestone by which President Xi Jinping has emphasized the need for the PLA to enhance its capabilities, including readiness for potential conflicts such as an invasion of Taiwan. Exciting, huh? So exciting. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Check us out on Patreon. I just uploaded an awesome interview with Christy Bass and Jared Murphy from archaeox.com, where they went out to the jungle for several weeks and uncovered a complex network of megaliths and pyramids and artifacts. This is close to one of the original discoveries of a crystal skull. And then there's a cave entrance out there that's so massive and it goes on for so long. I don't think they found the end of it yet. It's like going into a complex city built in a cave system that is massive in a mountain in Belize. Pretty cool, right? Well, you want to listen to this in full. I've also got this part 1 uploaded on YouTube. You can listen to that and then jump on over to our Patreon. But I've got thousands of hours of exclusive content on our Patreon page. So check us out over on Patreon. Hit the subscribe and all notifications and bell here on YouTube. Please leave a comment and a thumbs up for the algorithms. The algorithms need some love too. And I hope you have a beautiful day and be the change you want to see. Thank you.